You should know your customers. Can these tools help out? How much can you really tell about a company before you reach out and have a conversation with one of their employees? There are dozens, if not hundreds, of tools that you can use to peek behind the curtain so that you can identify target companies, personalize your messaging to those companies, better understand your buyer, and find needs for your solution. So today, I'm going to try a handful of tools that were recommended to me on LinkedIn and basically see what we can find out about a random company. First things first, let's find a company to research. First of all, I downloaded Deloitte's Technology Fast 500 list from 2021. I then copied that list into a randomizer. There we go. SecurityScorecard is going to be the company that we're researching today. Let's see what we can learn. This would probably be a good time to mention that the tools we're going to be using to research companies today are LinkedIn, Crunchbase, Similarweb, Owler, G2, and we'll also look at the first page of Google search results. You'll see I've got them all color coded up here in the top right hand corner, and we're going to go through these in order and basically extract all the info we can about SecurityScorecard. So let's start with LinkedIn. Straight away, the first things I'm going to be seeing is IT services and IT consulting as the industry. They're based in New York, United States, and they have 482 employees operating in 64 countries. They were founded in 2013. They have over 25,000 customers. It also says here that the most recent funding round was Series E, and that was $180 million US. That's a lot of money. Their headquarters is in 111 West 33rd Street. Let's find out who their CEO is. Alexander Yampolsky. In the last 2 years, they've more than doubled their headcount. And then we can see which departments have grown the most. Looks like their biggest department is the sales department with over 120 employees. And pretty much every single department has seen growth over 50% in the last year. I find team growth a great trigger to reach out to a company. Normally when teams grow, things get harder to manage. And if you're selling software or a service that can help alleviate some of the stress or make that growth easier, then that's a great reason to reach out to a company. I could reach out to their sales leader, for example, and say, hey, I saw that the sales team has doubled in size since 2020. And then I can use that to highlight a problem. For example, hey, how are you making sure that your forecasts are accurate now that you have twice as many people on the team and therefore twice as many variables that could make that forecast inaccurate? And here's another one, senior leadership hires. Those are always great triggers because if you get a new CEO or a new chief marketing officer, that probably means there's going to be some changes coming. Even this year, Bill O'Shea, their new SVP of Finance, started in January. It's now April. He's probably been there for 3 months. Now's the time he's probably going to start implementing some changes that he's seen that maybe his predecessor didn't.
It was a record-setting year.
So Alexander here is telling us that in 2021 they had a record-setting year.
R&D for our solutions, and then our greatest asset, people.
All right, so Alexander just told me that their biggest focus for 2021 was research and development for their product and focusing on their people.
St. Charles Gulf, Domino's.
Here's another one. If you can name drop some of your prospects' customers in your outreach, that can be a really fantastic way to catch your attention. Oh look, they made it onto the Deloitte Technology Fast 500 list. Who would have guessed? I also like to look at pages that people also viewed. You'll often find competitors in here. All right, so now we've pulled them up on Sales Navigator. It's told us that they have 20 million to 50 million in revenue. That's quite a range, but it does give us an idea. All right, so next I'm gonna check out Crunchbase. I just noticed something here. Looking from LinkedIn to Crunchbase, it looks like they might have had a rebrand recently because Crunchbase's logo is green and the one on LinkedIn is purple. Straight away, I'm seeing a lot of new information on this page. For example, acquisitions. 1, SecurityScorecard acquired a company called Lifars on February 7th, 2022. That is recent, relevant, topical news that we could use in a discovery call or if we were targeting this account. Although we knew about their Series E funding from LinkedIn, this is telling us their total funding amount, which is $292 million. We can actually see the investors who were part of their funding rounds. But this does also tell us that their last funding round, their Series E, was in March of last year. It tells us they have 200 to 500 employees. Their legal name is SecurityScorecard Inc. Here we go. SecurityScorecard has a post-money valuation in the range of 1 billion to 10 billion. It looks like Crunchbase is also finding emails and phone numbers for the contacts there as well. All right, web traffic by SEMrush as well. So they get 181,000 monthly visits. And the top 5 countries that visit their website are United States, Canada, and United Kingdom. And then Crunchbase has worked with a company that I know of called Bombora, which is an intent data platform. And this shows that this company, SecurityScorecard, might be looking into solutions like benchmarking, aircall, cloud automation, data drift. So if you're selling any of these solutions or anything like this, then it might be worth reaching out to this company. This year, SecurityScorecard is projected to spend $218,000 on IT, according to Aberdeen. That seems remarkably low for a company of this size. This number is way off. All right, similar companies. We have Keeper Security. When I see competitors, my first instinct is to prospect these folks as well. Show more. So you can only see 3 competitors with their base core product. I'm going to try out the free trial. Let me just get my my credit card and everything in order, and then I'll give that a go. Okay, so I need to buy this thing now. Wow. I mean, it's not that much, but like for me, like someone who's, this is my personal account, like that seems like a lot. We can see view all. All right. Okay, well, what happened off camera was me typing in my credit card details, and I came back to press the button, but not much happened. So this Crunchbase has their details of what tech they might be using. That, if you're selling software, would be huge information. Google Analytics, iQuery, Google Fonts, Vimeo, pretty standard stuff here. Next up is Similarweb. We're gonna go to security. So this is interesting. This is more of a web analytics platform. Total visit per month is 230,000. But it also says that bounce rate is 83.7%. And the bounce rate, for those of you who don't know, is the people who land on the page and then immediately close the page, like they went to the wrong website, basically. Pages per visit, 1.49. If you sell ads, marketing campaigns, digital marketing agency maybe, if you're a web developer, this is gold because it tells you that there's some room. The bounce rate on this is very high. This is interesting again, because Crunchbase said it was 69% from the USA, whereas this is saying less than 40% of the people from the USA. I wonder in this case, who might be right? These are the websites that other people are visiting. Another free trial. You know what? Just because I'm signing up for all these free trials, I'm gonna get loads of emails. I'm gonna ask you to subscribe. It's only fair, really. There's a special place in my heart for companies that provide a free trial without a credit card required. It is so refreshing because then I don't have to remember to cancel the trial or forget to cancel the trial. Similarweb, thank you. Now this is interesting. This tells me what channels people have come to that website from. And then their page search, they're obviously bidding on these AdWords for a marketing agency, for an SEO agency, for a web design firm, for a web developer. This is very useful stuff. And then social traffic, the majority of it comes from LinkedIn, which is what you'd expect for a B2B company these days. What was it? Competitive landscape. This is what I wanted to look at. This is for me lead generation. If I sell to SecurityScorecard or they're in a sales cycle with me, then I can prospect all of these other companies because I know that my product is a fit for that type of industry. So I'm looking for lookalike accounts essentially here. There's a whole lot here. There's no real way to know if they're true competitors or if they're just similar websites, but I've taken down the top 8 or so anyway. UpGuard seems to be maybe one of their bigger competitors. Next up, we have Owler. I've used this website before, but it was a long time ago because I remember it being orange. Oh, it's been acquired by Meltwater. Oh, cool. Look it out. I wonder when that happened. To check Crunchbase. Estimated annual revenue is 25 to 100 million. Again, quite the range and kind of in line with the other 2 websites that we looked at. Okay, we got some press releases here, which I didn't see on any other platform. This is talking about partnerships and those kinds of things. That is interesting. That's probably something you could use in outreach. Funding details. Okay. When I was on Crunchbase, they gave me this information for free. And right now it's telling me to unlock it. Series E. So it gives me the first few competitors. Let's have a look at this. So their biggest competitor is BitSite, apparently. Risk Recon, UpGuard. UpGuard is definitely a competitor. I wanna see more competitors and see which other ones. Okay, so there's no free trial. And I don't want to pay $420 today, so I won't be diving into that one. For this show, you might have noticed I like to do free tools, free trials, those kinds of things, because I only really want to test stuff that you can test as well. So at this point, Owler and Crunchbase are very comparable, but I got a lot more from Crunchbase. G2 Crowd. So this is more of a review site. People on LinkedIn, when I asked, they were like, check out G2 Crowd. It's a gold mine. And this will only really apply to companies that have a product that is on G2 Crowd. All right, here we go. Review of pros and cons. Pros, support is great, third-party integrations, beautiful interface, user-friendly, great for large companies. The cons, long waiting times. If we provide a customer success solution, that's really going to be a good point to hit them with. You don't want to rub that in their face like, haha, G2 said you had really bad long waiting times, but that could be a really relevant point to touch on if you're going to reach out to their CS leaders. Personally, the way I sell is often solving problems for my vendors. So if I can identify a problem, maybe with their product, maybe with their customer service, maybe with their website, that you can then reach out to the company and say, hey, we spotted this as an issue for you. You've had some bad reviews about it. That's what we do. We help companies with that issue. That's a fantastic way to hit someone with some really relevant outreach. Top-rated security scorecard alternatives, Lupio and RFPIO. So Lupio, not a competitor, I can guarantee that. RFPIO, not a competitor. Nessus looks like a bit more of a competitor. UpGuard. Again, UpGuard. We've got UpGuard. UpGuard's probably seems to be their biggest competitor at this stage. That's interesting. I think we could get all we could get from G2 there. I've used this as a prospecting tool in the past and got a lot more information for it. Good old-fashioned Google. Let's take a look. First ad is security scorecards, but look who's right below them. UpGuard. Bidding on the same ad word as security scorecard. The nail in the coffin that UpGuard is a big competitor of security scorecard. So Google now tells you email format. Did you know that? Let's say if you don't have someone's email address and you want to have a good guess at it, it looks like their most common email format is first initial, last name. So mine would be waitkin@securityscorecard.com. People also searched for BitSite, OneTrust, and UpGuard. And there we go. Let's take a look at what we were able to find about Security Scorecard. Security Scorecard is a cybersecurity company headquartered in New York with around 500 employees. They have 25,000 customers and operate in 64 countries. They were founded in 2013 by their CEO, Alexander Yampolsky. Their most recent funding was a Series E $180 million round. And their total accumulated funding is $292 million. And they're valuated somewhere between $1 and $10 billion. Their annual revenue is somewhere between $20 and $100 million. They've doubled their headcount in the past 2 years and they currently have 80 job openings. Some of their largest customers include Domino's, Liberty Mutual, and AXA. The majority of their customers are in the US, and their major competitors are UpGuard, BitSite, RiskRecon, and OneTrust. Which source gave us the most information? Well, if we take a look here, LinkedIn is by far on top in terms of the sheer amount of information we could get. Closely followed by Crunchbase, Owler. Similarweb didn't tell us too much, but it'd be very helpful if we were selling marketing, web, or media. We didn't get a ton of information from G2, and Google mostly confirmed a few of our other suspicions. Personally, all of these platforms were great, but if I was selling to companies like Security Scorecard all the time, then I'd probably stick to LinkedIn and Crunchbase. With that said, it really does depend on who you're selling to. If you're selling to very small businesses that aren't B2B software companies, then maybe Facebook's a place to look. Or maybe if you're selling to a company that has a lot more users with a product that's a little bit more plug and play, then G2 would be the place to look. Regardless of where you look, I would say we found a ton of relevant information that we could use in messaging and discovery calls if we were to try and sell to Security Scorecard. I appreciate y'all watching. See you next time on Sales Tech Talks. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and drop a comment. Let us know which sites did we miss. Where do you research your target accounts?